who is looking at you. It's a spider! All 8 eyes of the spider. Last week, you learned about the very busy spider and Eric Carle and how he cuts out shapes from painted papers to make his illustrations. This week, we're going to cut out some shapes of spiders too. Spiders might be a little bit scary at first, but once you start learning about them, you realize they're really fascinating creatures. Let's take a look at the parts of the body that we're going to need to make to create our spider. I want to share with you Anansi the spider. This is one of my favorite books about spiders, written by Gerald McDermott. The story comes from Ghana in West Africa. This is Anansi and his sons caught in a web. Notice the lines and the designs and the shapes. The art in this book comes from, or is inspired by, art from West Africa. Those blue squares, they were printed just like this adinkra cloth from West Africa. These are stamps that are used to make adinkra cloth. Here's a close-up and you can see how those symbols are stamped on the cloth. Notice that symbol that looks like a flower? That's actually a symbol for Anansi the spider. Adinkra cloth tells stories with its symbols and is worn traditionally as clothing in West Africa. Now let's look closely at Anansi's face. Does that look like a real spider face? It was inspired by African masks. Notice how these shapes on these masks are similar to Anansi in the story. Now it's time for us to make our own spiders for our webs. Maybe we'll even make something caught in our webs. You will need scissors, glue, pencil, colored paper, and your spider web. Stop the video at any time to catch up. We will cut a big circular oval and a small one, and 8 skinny rectangles. I'm going to show you a trick so that you can cut 4 and then turn them into 8 easily. I'm going to start by drawing my shapes with a pencil. And I notice I put them near the edge of my paper so that I can cut them easily. Curving my paper and turning my paper as I cut my shapes. That's how I can make a curved shape, by turning the paper as I close my scissors. Put some glue on your shapes and stick them down where you want them in your web. Once I have that done, I can go make my legs. I'm going to cut straight lines right along the edge of my paper to make skinny strips. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, but I need 8. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Now I have 8 by cutting them in half. I put some glue on my paper and I'm going to fold my legs so they look like they're crawling. I stick them down. When you stick them down, you'll want to hold them in place for a few seconds. You might want to use a pencil or a pair of scissors to actually hold them down so they don't stick to your finger. I'm just using my finger. Now, I'm going fast in this video. Remember, this isn't real life. I'm sped up my video so you don't have to sit here for a long time and watch. You'll need to go slower to do this. Take your time and hold your legs in place so they stick. Once you have your head, your body, and your legs, you can use your drawing tools to add some other details to your spider. Make sure you get all 8 eyes. Maybe you want to add a mouth for your spider or some spinnerets for them to make webs. Whoop. If you have a problem, you can fix it. Now that my spider's done, maybe I can add something else. I'm going to use a little scrap of paper to make a fly. This time I'm putting glue on the paper. Sometimes it's easier to put the glue on the big paper than the small one. You might making some shapes again and putting them together to make a fly. I'm going to fold a piece of paper so I can cut 2 shapes at once. I'm actually going to leave that one stuck together at the fold. I'm not going to cut the folded edge so that I can make my wings sticking up. Now that I've got all of the parts, I can use my drawing tools to add some fun details. What could you show caught in your web? Maybe your spider's caught a fly, or maybe there's something else stuck in your web. All right, have fun using shapes, cutting out shapes and putting them together to make your spider and whatever else you want to have in your web. I look forward to seeing your work on Seesaw. Have fun!